Davona Dale Stakes is the female counterpart to the Fountain of Youth. It's a Grade 2, and it is a Kentucky Oaks prep. It's the ninth race on Gulfstream Saturday card. It's running a mile for 3-year-old fillies, and we do have to remember, of course, it is a one-turn mile. And if we take a look at the field, we see Just FYI making her debut as a 3-year-old after a great Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies win. We've got Fiona's Magic, a hard knocker who's been on the Florida scene for a while. We've got Into Champagne, who's just coming off an ungraded stakes victory in her second start and looks like one on the rise. And then we've got Leslie's Rose, another, of the seemingly endless string of Todd Pletcher, promising 3-year-olds, who just came off a solid allowance win. So we'll take a look at them and we'll go through them one at a time. Leslie's Rose for Todd Pletcher in her second start ran had a nice solid win particularly from a speed figure standpoint, which would make her a fit here. And more importantly, she did it in her second start and had a nice debut maiden win. So she's overcome the bounce that a lot of Pletchers have had after a solid maiden win with a good second start. My concern is the fractions were fairly soft in the last race, and she got some pressure from Gunsong, who did come back out to win her next start, but the fractions were soft, and so I'm a little concerned with that. It was at 7 furlongs. She's by Into Mischief. She should get a mile, no problem. And I think she'll probably get on the lead to herself. And then the question is, if Just FYI making her debut isn't up all the way, then Leslie's Rose has the potential to wire the field. But the soft fractions bother me mainly because you've got Fiona's Magic here. Fiona's Magic did a lot better in her last start than I thought she was going to. And she's got some quality. I just don't think she's quite as good as some of the better 3-year-old fillies, but she brings it every time, seemingly, and she's a hard knocker. And I thought she ran a nice race last time, and I think she'll bring it again. But I think her contribution more so is being up on the lead, making it for a competitive front end. And but underneath, it's probably more likely for her. Miss Ailey's just not good enough. She's had a number of starts and hasn't shown enough to me to indicate that she's ready to take that move forward to be a stakes competitor, so I'll pass on her. Just FYI did everything right as a 2-year-old. Had the absolute perfect progression you can ask for in a 2-year-old. Her class level got better with every race as the race level increased. And you can't stress that enough as being a vital pattern for a horse who wants to be an Oaks or a Derby contender. And she had a nice win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We do have concerns about her front end, or top end rather, but she seems to be a horse who can do enough to win. And they keep raising the bar, and she doesn't back down. So Just FYI is a horse you have to like. Really, the only question is how ready will she be coming off the bench to run in this one. But I think she probably will be good enough to win here, particularly at a one-turn mile. And she would be the logical pick to win this race. Who Could Ask for Mo is one that the big concern is they keep dropping her further back as the stakes increase. And you look at her fractions and she keeps falling farther and farther back early to make a big run late. And that to me is, it says to me that they're not overly certain that this one can be competitive at the stakes level, particularly on the front end. So they just try to suck up and get a check. And that's what it looks like to me with Who Could Ask for Mo. So I think underneath is entirely possible, but I don't see her as a viable win candidate. I don't think the pace will be strong enough for her to run into that. So I'm going to use her underneath only. Queen's Martini had every chance to beat Power Squeeze in the last race and could not do it. And that to me just shows a horse is a cut below. And maybe can get underneath for third, but that's the extent of it. The more prominent horses in here are better, and that's the bottom line. So Queen's Martini, I don't really want. Into Champagne, I like. This horse is making a good progression from her last two starts. From a maiden win, moved into an ungraded stakes and won that pretty convincingly. She's got the right progression, is getting better, and I think it has the look of a horse who is ready to take another step forward. And if anybody's going to beat Just FYI, I think it's Into Champagne. Should be coming off the pace, and provided she takes another step forward, and if Just FYI isn't quite as tuned up all the way, then Into Champagne, I think, has a really good chance here. And I think you'll get a decent price because the Pletcher horse will probably take some money, as well as Just FYI. New Diamond is a deep closer. And, okay. I mean, maybe can suck up underneath the bottom of the super, but the speed figures are really lacking here in comparison to the others in the field. And I don't really want any part of her. I think there's better options. So if we look at our wagering strategy, certainly Just FYI is the one I think we have to key as the primary win candidate. But I think Into Champagne should offer some good value. So we'll go across the board with her. And again, if Just FYI is a little short for this one, I think Into Champagne makes a lot of sense. We're going to do a straight exacto with Just FYI on top with 2, 4, and 8. And then we'll box Just FYI and Into Champagne. And if, Just FYI wins and it goes accordingly, we double up. Then the trifecta, we'll go with those two, 3-8, 3-8 on top with 2, 4, 5. We'll put Who Could Ask for Mo underneath for third because I think that's the extent of her participation. Then we'll do another one, 3-8 on top with 2, 4, 5 with 3-8. Just FYI is the horse to beat in this race, but watch out for Into Champagne.